Alright, the last problem I want to go over out of chapter 4 is the one that deals with using your calculator again. So again, they just give you this function. You don't really need to know anything about it, just you need to be able to put it in your graphing calculator. And it says that you're going to look at it over the interval of 1 to 12 for t values. Now t is really your x on your calculator. So when you go to set your window, you know you're only going to go from 1 to 12 for your x's. That's all you care about on that graph. It tells you that t equals 1 corresponds to 2001. So what I would do before I get started then is read this question. It says, what is the biomass energy consumption for 2005? So I'm just going to remind myself that means when t equals 5 or x equals 5. Okay, so I'm going to plug in x equals 5 there. And when I go to this one, it says I want the average rate of change from 2001. So that's when t or x is 1 to 2012. And so that's when x or our t value is going to be 12. So just make sure, you can read through what this tells you, but just make sure that you really look at what this is telling you, because that helps you decide what you're plugging in. This helps you decide what your window is going to be when you put it in your calculator. So you need to put that into your calculator, type it in. So I already did that. I went to y equals. Make sure always that your plots are off, especially if you've done a regression, because then you're going to get some error messages. So if you get an error message, just check to make sure that your plot, there's no stat plots on. A plot would be on if you see it highlighted. So if it is highlighted, just arrow up there, hit enter to shut it off. Alright, so I typed the equation in, so you can do that. I went to window, and because it told me I only want to deal with values 1 to 12 for my independent variable x, I'm going to type in x min of 1, x max of 12. The scale doesn't really matter. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to zoom, and I'm going to go down to zoom 0. So you can either just hit 0 or arrow down to zoom 0, which is zoom fit. So that's going to fit the y's to my x's. So I can see that in the piece of the graph that I'm looking at is increasing that entire interval. Alright, so now that I have it in my calculator, let's see if we can use the calculator to answer the question. First question, what was the biomass energy, so what was the y value, when the consumption, or energy consumption for the year 2005, and we already said that's when x is 5. So to use your calculator, you could do this algebraically by just putting in a 5 into your function, but that's a lot of typing. You don't have to do that. If you want to, just go to your calculator. Under calc, everything's there. So you go second trace, and I want to put in a value. So I'm going to hit enter on value. What do I want my x value to be? I want my x value to be 5. And then it tells me my answer. When x is 5, y is 3,120.25. So that is my answer. I'll write that down, 3,120.25. Now remember, to answer the question, remember the energy, it says the consumption is in trillions of BTUs. So we will write trillion BTUs. So make sure you label your answer. So all I did is after I typed it in my calculator, the equation, I went to, first I set my window, remember we went to x, set your x's correctly, zoom 0, I went to second calc, and I went to value. You can type in any value you want within that domain of 1 to 12. Alright, so then this says what was the average rate of change from t equals 1 to 12. Average rate of change is just the slope. So slope is the difference of your y values, so y2 minus y1 over the difference of your x values. That's the slope formula. So what I need to do is figure out what's the y value at t equals 1, or x equals 1. What's the y value at 12 when x is 12? So let's do that. Let's go second calc, value. Let's put in 1. The y value is 2,663.25. Okay, so that's really an ordered pair. When x is 1, y is that number. I have to find when x is 12. I'm going to go second calc, value, type in 12, and I get 4,382. So when x is 12, y is 4,382. Alright, so that's my all I need in my calculator for that point to get those points. Now the average rate of change is just the difference of the y values over difference of the x values. So I need to take 4,382 minus 2,663.25 all over 12 minus 1. So I took y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now I need my calculator to do that. In the home screen, I need to take 4,382 minus 2,663.25. That's what I get, and I'm going to divide that by 11 because that's what 12 divided by, or 12 minus 1 is. So my average rate of change is 156.25. 156.25. Now the label of that, remember, it's difference of the y's. The y's was the number of trillions of BTUs, and the x's was the year. So it's the number of, it's this many trillion BTUs per year. So to label it, you're thinking about what's this? That's trillions of BTUs per whatever this unit is. We divided by 11, so it's per year. So it's this many trillion BTUs per year. Okay? So it's just using your calculator. You just have to make sure you can set up a window. It gave me the y, or the x's, so make sure you set those x's, and then you just go zoom fit. And then when you have to find a value, you're just going second calc value to put that in. Now I will show you something, just in case you don't set your window right. If, let's say, I went second calc value. Now remember, my window only goes x's from 1 to 12. So if I didn't have my window set correctly, and I said second calc value, and I wanted to find 15, if I type in 15, if it's not in my window, it's going to say invalid. So you just have to be careful that you have to make sure whatever number you want to put in has to be within this window. So if I change this to be 15, now when I go second calc value, I can type in a 15. So whatever you're doing for second calc value, that number you type in has to be on your window. So now I can find the value at 15 once I set my window to that. So if you ever get that message, you just know that you have to readjust your window so that the x that you're looking for is in that domain of answers there. Okay, so I hope that helps. Hopefully all the videos helped. I just tried to go through the main ones that I thought were the most important out of each chapter. So please share it with anybody else that you feel like might need to watch any of them. Please share the links with them. Good luck on your final.